right, welcome back to Full Throttle TV. Tonight it's the Gearhead Coffee Grand National Series live from Michigan International Speedway. We've got the EventHelper.com 175. I'm Dean Doucette in the booth with me, Mr. Brad Patterson. Brad, off to Michigan in the Xfinity cars.
Oh man, 2 miles of one hot track today. It looks like we're getting a little 100 degrees on the track conditions today. It's going to be a slippery little track for us, and fast speeds. These cars are hooked up. It's going to be one incredible night.
It really is. Man, these cars, there was a new build this morning that came, or not a new build, but a little tweak to the tire model. Track grip changed a little bit, cars changed a little bit. So it's almost the way NASCAR is right now, Brad. It's, run what you brought.
Yeah, and you know what? To no surprise, we got some fast cars out here. KG veterans, people that really know how to manipulate the build and really put in the time. They're going to be rising to the top. Guys that are a little bit slower on the uptake, slower on the set builds. They might be a little bit further in the pack. So it's going to be very interesting to see who's going to be able to dial in that car with the limited amount of practice that we've had.
Yeah, absolutely correct. It's anybody's guess, but you look at the top of the board, there's no guessing game on who knows how to run these Xfinity cars. That's Mr. Bobby Terrell.
Oh, absolutely. He is no stranger at all to running up front in these races, and quite frankly, throughout the entire series of all the FTSR races. One of the standout performers in all of them. Bobby Terrell. Let's see. Let's go ahead and look at our points here. Bobby Terrell. Oh, no surprise, our points leader here in the Gearhead Grand National Series. A little bit right over the top of Ronnie Royal, 7 points back, and Bernard Person a little bit further back in 15. So, a star-studded event tonight with a lot of great drivers. It's going to be a fantastic night.
It really is. And you say star-studded, you're right. But unbelievably, Bobby Terrell, I believe 3-time defending champion of the Xfinity Series here, the Grand National Series, if you will. And, it looks like he's ready to repeat one more time. It didn't look that way a couple weeks ago, but here he is back on top of the board again.
Oh, without a doubt. But you know what? This Grand National Series has really put in something that it's kind of unprecedented throughout the series here. Looking at the top 10, we have 3 winners in the top 10. Nobody in the top 5. Jason Spear currently in 5th position, our only winner in the entire top 5. And then we got to go all the way back to Tracy Powers in 9th and Brian Hellman 10th to get our other winners. So this is wide open. Anything can happen in this Gearhead Coffee Series.
Yeah, and it usually does as well. So we take a quick look in on the race weather here. 81 air temp, track temp at 103. Pretty standard conditions here at Full Throttle Sim Racing. Be racing in the high to mid 90s probably, as we're just getting ready for qualifying here. We look in at the race analysis as well. We're going to be 88 laps, 175 miles tonight, 18 degrees of banking. The track, very different turns here, 1 and 2 to 3 and 4, Brad. You have to almost pick where you're going to be good out of. And most times, more times than not, guys will get loose in the middle of 3 and 4 later on during this run.
Absolutely. If you're able to rotate from center off in 3 and 4, you're really going to get a good bite on the corner. And really, it's all about maintaining the exit speed to get the most that you can get out of these long straightaways. 1 and 2 generally a faster corner, but you do not generally want to be on the very bottom of the racetrack. You want to run about a lane high, and that's where the grip is going to be in that track. As the run goes on, you can get a little bit higher in the corner, but 3 and 4, man, that's really the tricky corner for these drivers.
Yeah, it is. As we look in on Terry Cooper Jr. making his run, and he's been solid the last few races, last few months, improving each and every race. I mean, he's always had speed. I look for him to be trouble tonight. We see Brandon Elder out here taking some laps. Hopefully Brandon's got something good tonight. Lots of take. Another guy that we see out here tonight, we haven't seen too much of, Baron Labosco. At one point during one season, he had won 4 or 5 races in a row. Used to be a dominant performer in this series. Always good to see him out on the track. He's been extremely busy, Brad, with other things. Maybe not enough practice, but always a threat.
Yeah, definitely. Baron Labosco, he's kind of turned into one of those Xfinity, drivers that was honing his craft. Primarily going with the Xfinity series. I expect to see him to do wonderful things, and watching these qualifying laps, we got to kind of talk about these grooves in this track. There's very specific seams of the asphalt, and if you hit those seams, it can really upset the car very fast, and turn the car very loose and possibly out into the outside wall.
Definitely, especially through 1 and 2. I don't know about how much effect the seam has, but if you get down below that first seam, into that first lane, the car can get very loose. Very interesting to see how these guys decide to drive this track. Now, excuse me, we also have a bit of a drafting update. So these cars haven't been drafting well, but tonight they will be. We're going to see a little version of some pack racing early on here. Look for some big runs and some big moves. Could make it highly entertaining.
It really could. With that being said as well, though, you could sit there and you could push your equipment a little too fast. You could burn those tires up running just a little bit faster. These guys, they've put in a lot of practice. They're used to running practice laps at practice speed. All of a sudden, you add in that draft, you get 2-3 tenths of a second a lap faster. Those tires burn off just that much faster. So you really got to be disciplined with that right pedal.
You do. As we look in on the AutoZone car, the last time we were here, I'm not sure if you remember, Brad, but this 23 AutoZone car was dominant. Came out here, won by a whopping 14 seconds or something. If you remember the race, backed off early on. We were talking about it, saved some of that tire, something he's not used to doing. Can he do it again tonight?
Oh man, I would expect nothing else out of Brody the Showman Hanna. He's gonna hate me for that later, but he was really putting on a show the last time we were here. Was able to really come back. Did a little bit of tire saving, which wasn't really known for him. But you know what? I think this racetrack, the last time we were here, really sparked a little bit for Brody Hanna and really put a little bit of that, just a little bit more want to get back into the series and to really get competitive. And ever since doing that, he's been on a tear.
Yeah, he's been much improved lately, and from everything we read about how the tire is going to interact with the track now, it's going a little bit back towards Mr. Hanna, the all-time winningest driver here at Full Throttle Sim Racing. Wasn't a fan of the tire saving that was produced over the last while, but if we get back to a little bit of go hard racing and fight racing, watch out for that 23, man. He sure can wheel it. These guys are just finishing up qualifying here, getting lined up on the grid, and we got a surprise man on the pole as far as I'm concerned. Haven't seen this in a while. The 71, Casey McMullen on the pole.
Absolutely. See, I wouldn't necessarily call it a surprise, but it's definitely out of character for him. One of those guys that likes to conserve that tire, but Casey McMullen putting down the lap tonight.
Yeah, amazing job. Great to see him back up there. We see our fellow commentator, Jared Carr, sitting in third. We're just waiting for these guys to line up, and we'll get through the entire lineup here and let you know where everybody's sitting. This is going to produce some good racing by the looks of it. You got the likes of Bobby down in fifth and Ronnie Royal down in eighth, Baron Labosco in 10th. So very intriguing what I'm seeing here. I think they're just about lined up. Why don't we get right into our starting lineup here? Mr. Casey McMullen, senior, on the pole. He's got a time of 39.035. On the outside of row number 1, Brody Hanna in the AutoZone 23. In row number 2, it's going to be Jared Carr in that 7 machine. On the outside of row 2, it's going to be the 83 of Jason Spear. Bobby Terrell in the 4 will be starting 5th. In 6th place, the 14 of Lane Allen. The 25 of Terry Cooper Jr. will be in the inside of row number 4, and Ronnie Royal in the 81 will be on the outside. Sherwood Williford starts 9th tonight, and the 54, Mr. Baron Labasco, will be starting in 10th.
Absolutely. Then we're going to have the 45 of Tracy Power. It's going to be rolling off 11th today. The 98 of TJ Bartel. He's been flirting with some very good runs lately. Currently going to be in our 12th. Followed by Will Long, Matthew Geringer, Brandon Elder, David Hensley in that 43, Stephen Loomis in the 17, and Daryl Spear's going to round out our field. Looks like we're going to have 18 cars rolling off the grid today.
Yeah, a little lighter field, but not bad for this late in the season. You see this across iRacing all the time when you've got, a late season. We're only a couple of races left after this, and it starts to filter down. And here we are with 18 cars. I think it's going to be a good show. Like I said, Brad, this draft package they brought here, it's going to allow these guys to get some runs down these straightaways with that big turn through 3 and 4. You could be looking at 3 wide, maybe 4 wide at times.
Absolutely. Diminished car count doesn't necessarily mean diminished competition on this racetrack. Because trust me, these guys have all come here to play. And if we have a very good draft package, these guys are not going to be able to get away from each other. And it's going to be a very interesting night.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Seeing that 23 up there, after what he did last time, quite amazing. And also, seeing the 71 on the pole, a notorious gas saver. We haven't even talked about that. Is fuel mileage could come into play here tonight. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely. Jared Carr up there, he's, sniffing on that victory. So we're ready to see what exactly happens as the pace truck drops down.
Green flag.
Yeah, we're down and away under green. The 71 leads him down. 23 on the outside, a solid job there, hanging right there. Looks like that 71 getting a little better run, though, and he's going to lead him down into corner number 1.
Absolutely. As we come down into quarter 1, the 71 is going to take the bottom. The 23 is going to hang on the outside. The 7 is going to look like he's going to try to sneak in there and try to get down on the bottom as the 71 is going to clear the 23 and fall in line. It's going to be a question of whether or not that 7 is going to tuck in the back of the 23, if he's going to really try to push it down 3 and 4, as he's going to be to the inside of the 23.
And here comes Jared Carr down there, pushing it deep in there. He's rolling the bottom solid, past Brody Hanna, to the inside of the 71. Put Jared Carr on the point after lap 1. What a run from 3rd place.
Yeah, what he's got to watch about is he's got to get clear of that 71, because if that 71 stays to the outside, he might be able to pinch it down as the 7 of Jared Carr is able to get clear, and he's going to be able to rotate through the bottom. Look here now, we got the 83 of Jason Spear on the inside of the 71, challenging for 2nd.
Yeah, and he's going to take that off of 2 here. And while entering the 3, it looks like he's going to have it. Now are the 71 and the 23 being cagey. We've seen this from the 23 last time we were here. A little bit of saving, dropped to 5th, maybe 6th or 7th even, and then came back and won that race in dominating fashion. Right now, Jared Carr holding nothing back, way out in the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of this could be part of that new draft model too. Both Jared Carr and Jason Spears, started 3rd and 4th for the patrons of the Casey McMullen and Brody Hanna, 1 and 2. We're able to get a little bit of draft going through those corners and down the backstretch, and was that enough to be able to clear them?
Yeah, it was an amazing job by the 83 as well. As we look back in some battles here, we got the 45, Tracy Powers up fighting with the 12, a little ahead of them though. Had the wrong car, I believe. There's some battles. You got Sherwood Williford with Terry Cooper Jr. Ronnie Royals on the inside. It looks like the 4 of Bobby Terrell behind Brody Hanna. Battles all over the track, Brad.
Yeah, you might as well throw a blanket over the 5th through 8th position. As it looks like Bobby Terrell is starting to work that bottom. He's going to tuck into the high side, try to get that draft on that long back stretch. As we got the 81 working to the inside, the 81 of Ronnie Royal working to the inside of the 14 of Lane Allen. I don't think he's necessarily going to be able to make that pass. As I say that, he's not able to get by the 14, as the 4 is going to drive to the inside of that 23. So, there's so many places to go. This is a big, wide open racetrack, and it's where you're going to go. And it's going to be interesting to see just how these guys' tires fall off as we make it through the run.
It is, as you see Bobby moving forward here, bringing the 81 with him. Again, that 23 just lurking, and he's fading back just like he did last time. So interesting, knowing the dynamic from the last race. 23 and 4, nose to tail here. Ronnie Royal down low.
Absolutely, as the 81 goes right on the back of the four. But you know what? We're looking at all these tight battles, but a battle that's not happening is right up front with Jared Carr. He's been able to put about a 4/10 of a second lead on Jason Spear and a little bit over a second on Casey McMullen. I got to think that a lot of that lead right now is currently the battling that's happening in the third and our fourth positions, as we're still too wide going from 1 and 2. With Ronnie Roll to the inside of Casey McMullen, is I got to think Casey McMullen, being that crafty veteran, he's going to save a little tire and maybe even a little fuel here.
Maybe a little fuel as well. Well, I can tell you from a little testing I did on my own out here that we're approaching that spot. It was around lap 8 to lap 12. Cars started to get loose. If you don't have a good car tonight, you're going to start showing it here in the next couple of laps, and it's going to be quite dramatic by the end of this run because it's already got that feel, that green flag feel to it.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to see cars most likely in 1 and 2. They're going to be very well. They're going to be able to hold the bottom or at least get to the corner very well. Exit of 2 could be a problem, sliding up into the outside retaining wall. But really, it's 3 and 4 not being able to rotate from the center off, and they're going to push really wide. That's generally what happens here at Michigan International Speedway, and it's going to be very interesting as we've got the 23 to the inside of the 71 of Casey McMullen. Brody Hanna coming to the forefront, making his way into the top 5.
Yeah, he's had enough saving. That's 7 laps. That's enough for him. He's going to move forward, and I think it's a pretty good time. Those first, 4 or 5 laps are crucial to your efforts to save any tire around here.
Absolutely. As you know, one particular individual I'm not really surprised to see is the 33 of Sherwood Williford. He's now currently making his way around both Lane Allen and the 71 of Casey McMullen. Put Sherwood Williford up into that 6th position as he's making his way towards the front.
Yeah, we've seen a resurgence of the 33 lately across all series. He's really been on a roll and looking good. No surprise to see him. He's looking butter smooth right now as he starts to run down the 23.
Yeah, he absolutely is. There is a massive battle in the back right now, right between the 6th and the 9th position. Casey McMullen, you got the 14 of Lane Allen, you got Will Long, you got Terry Cooper Jr. I mean, put a blanket over these guys. They are really battling out.
Wow, what a battle back here indeed. And Bobby almost up into the wall. That's Tracy Powers, actually. Very similar cars there, almost touching the wall. Aaron Labosco in there. Here comes Terry. Terry Cooper Jr. I couldn't remember his name all of a sudden. Terry Cooper Jr. slides right on by. And here he's going to bring along with him Baron Labosco.
Absolutely. But who's not having any problems right now? Our leader, Jared Carr. He's been able to put about a 1.4 second lead over Jason Spear, as Jason Spear is slowly getting reeled in by that 4 of Bobby Terrell. It's only going to be a matter of a lap or two before Terrell is on the back of him, followed by Ronnie Royal. So it's going to be interesting to see once he gets there. Will he be able to get by, and will he have something to be able to reel Jared Carr back in?
Yeah, these guys, you got to think that that's going to hurt Carr being out here, but you never know. As we're going to kind of run down our order here, our top 5 anyway. Jared Carr from 3rd up to 1st, opening up a nice big lead. Jason Spear holding on for dear life on to 2nd place. He's had a really good start to this race. To 4 of Bobby Terrell, now up to 3rd place and seemingly on the move. The 81 of Ronnie Royal started 8th up to 4th. Then you got the aforementioned Brody Hanna, Sherwood Williford. Now we can see Lane Allen entering the mix here, as he's always been here, started 6th up into 7th place. Will Long's been moving pretty good too, as he's from 13th to 8th. Terry Cooper Jr. there was 9th. He's moved up to 8th actually. And then Baron Labosco rounding out the top 10 right where he started. He's starting to go forward. And you see Will Long there. It was really good early, and he's starting to fade a little bit.
Yeah, I think this is a little bit of that new build as well as the setup. You got guys that are going to be really fast right off the bat. Could be one of those differences where the draft, really wears your tires a little bit more prematurely than you thought. You can't practice the draft. You can practice single car runs. You can practice your tire wear. But when you get another 2, 3 tenths a second lap faster, there's no way to really, you know, uh, work that through as far as really make your setup work. And really, you're starting to see the guys come that are going to shine on that late run. Is we're cutting down the lead just a little bit to Jared Carr. We're down to about a second and a half. It's starting to turn in just a little bit. And I think right now, I can't tell if Bobby Turrell in that 4 or the 81 or Ronnie Rolls got the fastest car, because they both seem like they're really starting to get around those corners very well.
They really do, and we're starting to pack back up here. These 3 cars here, and then behind them, you've got the 23, the 33, and the 14, and I think they're gaining on them a little bit. So everybody kind of accordion back together, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, currently, Jared Carr running a 40-90 to Jason Spears 40-60, 40-80. So Jared Carr definitely starting to lose some time. That time by Bobby Turrell was able to turn a 40-70, 2 tenths faster than our leader. So some of that could be the draft. But at the same time, Bobby Turrell's having to have a fight with Jason Spear, which is going to lose a little bit of time. But even in doing that, they're making up distance on our leader.
Yeah, this is not an easy pass for the 4. You can see getting down low in 1 and 2, probably not the place to do it. You're going to have to get a run out of 2 and get down into 3 a little bit lower, maybe even, dare I say, a slide job perhaps.
Oh man, there's been many of upset drivers on the basis of a slide job. I mean, there's a lot of times you think you're clear, and it's a matter of somebody just cutting you a little bit of a break that they didn't necessarily have to. As you see, Ronnie Royal there in that 81, he's had a very fast race car, and it seems like he's just kind of being able to close up at will on the back of that 4 car. I think he's more in the situation where he's just going to take advantage of the pass when the 4 really opens the door. He's going to be there to fill it, because he's been able to climb right on the back of the 4.
Yeah, you see Bobby Turrell there, almost like he heard us up in the booth, making his pass down in 3 and 4. He's got it done. Put Bobby Turrell up to 2nd place. He'll set his sights on our leader, Jared Carr.
Yeah, this is when it's going to get interesting. Bobby Turrell's been about 2 tenths of a second faster than Jared Carr in traffic, battling with Jason Spear. How much of that is draft? How much of that is just a better race car, handling a race car? So we're going to have to find out right here. As it looks like the 81 of Ronnie Royal, he's on the back of the 83 of Jason Spear. So Spear not out of the woods yet. Definitely can't hold up.
Yeah, Spear, you can see him getting a little loose, a little pushy loose, I guess you'd call it. But Carr pushes a bit and then wants to snap on you. And that's not a good sign for the 83 as Ronnie Royal starts to make that move down into 1 and 2. It's tough down here, but he threw it in deep. Looks like he's going to clear him pretty easy. Teammates there, could have been a little bit of I'll let you go, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Work together, make sure you get the most amount of draft on the backstretch. But Bobby Turrell, right there, that last lap, 2 tenths of a second faster than Jared Carr. We're going to see Jared Carr complete this lap here. His previous lap was a 41.20 to Bobby Turrell's 41.0. So as we come to the stripe here, let's see what we get on our leader. We're going to be at a 41.40, and Bobby Turrell is going to be at a 41.1, 3 tenths of a second faster. So definitely closing in on the back of Jared Carr. And you know what? He's bringing the 81 of Ronnie Royal and Jason Spear with him. So we're going to have a 4-car battle practically for the lead in probably the next 5 laps.
Yeah, it might get even bigger than that at some point here. Feel bad for Jared. I've been there with that 4-car stalking in your mirror. I can tell you that's not a good feeling to see Bobby Turrell closing in on you, because you know how smooth he is and how tough he is to beat. It really rattles the nerves.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're the 7-car, you hit on something, you're doing a really good job. Your teammate in the 45 of Tracy Powers early in the season been able to pull off a win. There's some definite momentum going into that Havoc Powers Motorsports team. So they're definitely on the right track. It's only a matter of time before things really come together, and that's got to be promising for that team.
Oh, it definitely is. There's no doubt about it. In this eventhelper.com 175, make sure you go over to their website and check them out. They're insurance brokers of sorts. They will do any of your, your large events like your weddings or special events. They've got all the permits necessary for all the states or provinces that you're in. So go check them out, please. Right now,
Absolutely.
Jared Carr continues to lead, doing a great job out here. We're through 20 laps of 88 as Bobby Terrell is now there. He's to the bumper. He's brought Ronnie Royal with him, and we're going to have ourselves a fight for the lead.
Yeah, Jared Carr's definitely wishing he had a little bit of that insurance right now, as it looks like the four of Bobby Trail is just stalking him right now. I don't think he's really going to have any type of problem. You're going to see him set himself up, lay back a little bit on the entrance. You're going to see the 7 car really push on the exit here, and that's going to give Bobby Trail in that four just a really good run down the front stretch. Also, the one thing that Jared Carr is not going to benefit from that the four will is his draft. He's going to basically punch a hole for the one person he doesn't want to punch a hole for, and that's the four of Bobby Trail as he pulls up to the back of him.
You can see that 7 car, that car yawn way out there. I was experiencing that when I did some testing. Bobby looks to touch to the inside here. I don't think he's quite ready. He's going to set him up one more lap.
Yeah, and one thing that I've noticed in all of these laps is the 81 of Ronnie Royal there. Whenever Bobby Trail gets to the back of the car, he kind of tends to lean back just a little bit, give him a little bit of space just in case some kind of contact happens between the cars. I think that's a very smart move on his part. He's able to follow the 4 car through, but he's not going to be close enough to where if some contact happens, he's going to get caught up in the melee.
Yeah, well, the 81's proven one thing to all of us is that he is an extremely smart and long-run thinking driver. He's going to take this opportunity, cool those tires down, relax. There's nowhere he can really go. I mean, he can go fight hard under Bobby, which would put him under Jared, and probably just get stuck down there burning his stuff up. Very thoughtful driver, doing an excellent job. This might be the best thing he could hope for. These two get up here and fight a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's sitting back saying, hey, you guys go ahead and run up there. I'll just run in your draft. I'll keep my tires cool. I'll keep my fuel mileage. It's a 4 on the inside of Jared Carr going into 1.
Yeah, we got ourselves a new leader here. Perhaps Jared Carr fighting back. I don't think he's got it. He's going to fall back into 3rd place by the looks of it. Going to fight side by side with Ronnie Royal. But Bobby Terrell, back to the point, our new race leader.
If you notice that on that entrance of 3 and 4, the 81 of Ronnie Royal was able to close that distance so fast on that 4 to get underneath the 7. I mean, I got to think that he's probably the best running car right now.
Well, if you look just behind these guys, you've got the 83 of Spear. Then here comes Brody Hanna. They're Sherwood Williford, Terry Cooper Jr. They're all coming.
They really are. At this point, we're sitting there, we're 24 laps into this event. We got 88 on the total ticker here. So, you got to start thinking about pit stops. I mean, these guys are not at that particular point where they necessarily need it, but a mistake on pit road running this close is going to be major.
It really is. It could be a decider. I mean, you look at the board, Brad, 1 through 9, separated by 2.5 seconds. Unbelievable how close this is on lap 24 of 88.
And those guys running a little bit further back. The first one farther back, a little bit over 7.5 seconds back, is going to be Casey McMullen. We know he is a strategy guy. If somebody's going to stretch the fuel mileage to make sure that they can make it, it's going to be the 71 of Casey McMullen. So, just because they're not running up front doesn't mean that they don't have a chance at this victory.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. The 71's already calculated the fuel. 44 laps at this long Michigan track. Very difficult to complete. If anybody's trying to do it, it's the 71 and maybe the 98 of TJ Bartel. Those two will be someone we'll keep an eye on for sure. Because if we're looking at 2-stoppers, pit stops really are imminent at this point.
Absolutely. It seems like we settled into a little bit of a lull where not necessarily guys aren't trying very hard. It's just they don't have the closing speed as the 4. Bobby Turley seems to be about a 10th second faster than Ronnie Royal. I say that Ronnie Royal is able to get through 1 and 2 a little bit better and close the distance. And then we got Jared Carr currently in our 3rd position, about 7/10 of a second back, followed by Jason Spear and Brody Hanna still hanging in there, closing in on the back of Jared Spear.
Yeah, this is getting really interesting here. We're, over halfway through this run. Unless you're on a two stopper, we're almost completed. And I just don't know how it's going to work out. Who's going to pit? Who's going to stay out? I know most of these guys. I think they're all going to try and make it. I think they probably can make it. It's going to be close, though.
I guarantee the 71 stays out. That's all I know.
There's no doubt about that. That's his go-to strategy as of late. We've seen him flip it though. We've seen him run hard before when he's got a car that he enjoys and he's up front. So we'll never know. We'll see what happens here. But right now, the 23 not looking quite the same as last time. I don't think he's the dominant car that he was when we were here just months ago.
Well, we did know months ago that was one of his first time where he really endured the tire saving model. So, he could be really trying that. Maybe this new build, not a lot of time to practice and tweak on the car has a little bit of effect. And maybe that's just going to bring everybody a little bit closer together as far as the competitiveness. As Bobby Turrell, Ronnie Royal, they are together, and Ronnie Royal is there.
Ronnie Royal's there, as we've seen Baron Labosco come underneath the 33 and make that pass. Now we look up to the front, and Ronnie Royal, second thoughts there, not quite enough to get underneath. Back to Baron Labosco. He has completed that pass, but Sherwood Williford taking a little peek on the inside. He backs out of that. So up front, this continues to rage on. Now everybody behind them, these guys are not far back. Jared Carr has done a great job hanging on to third place here. He's stabilized that car, maybe cooling those tires down a little bit and doing a great job of it. But these guys all hoping these top two start battling. Unfortunately for them, they got two of the smartest drivers in the league fighting here. They're not going to burn up their stuff.
No, they're really not. These are two of their crafty veterans, but at the same time, Jared Carr, Jason Spear, Brody Hanna, those are three very competitive veterans in this. So,
yeah, most definitely. As we see the 83 coming underneath the Jared Carr here out of the turn. This battle awful close. They ride side by side, heading down into corner 3.
Jared Carr starting to run a little bit. Yeah, Jason Spear going to the inside of the 7 of Jared Carr. He's going to look to try to have the better access. A little bit of wiggle from the 83 is going to push him to the outside. Now he's got to worry about the 23 of Brody Hanna closing on the back, going to the bottom.
23 down on the inside. He's ahead at the line. He's going to go down into one here, clear him, and put the 23 up to third place. Perhaps that car is starting to come alive on lap 31.88.
Absolutely. This is one of those deals where, you could be going for a position and end up costing yourself too. As it sounds like our leader, Bobby Turrell, might be coming down to pit road this lap.
Wow, interesting news. The 4 saying, I can't make it. I'm coming in. And no, he stays. Yes, he is coming in. Here he comes. Wasn't too sure for a minute there, carrying an awful lot of speed. Great pit entrance there for the 4. Our first guy to pit road. How interesting. We'll see if anybody else joins this strategy.
You got to think at lap 32, if he's coming to pit road, that they will not be able to make it on one lap, on one pit stop, if you will. If that was the fastest car on the track saying, I'm going to go in, I'm going to get my tires. So it's going to be very interesting to see what that 81 of Ronnie Royal or the 7 of Jared Carr does.
And you see now Lane Allen coming through this pack on these fresh tires. He's been in already for service. 2 laps down. Not good for him, but he's going to get one of these back right shortly as he's cutting through this traffic.
Yeah, absolutely. And that car looks relatively clean, so I wouldn't think that was a strategy move in order to go in.
Oh, and Jason Spear down to the inside of the 23, taking advantage of the situation here, and they're going to go side by side.
The 4, looking at our leader, Ronnie Royal, he closes on the back of the 4 of Bobby Turrell. That's going to be very important because currently Bobby Turrell not go a lap down, so that's very significant. If we do get a caution flag, he will not be 1 lap down, so note that. That's very important.
That is hard to believe that he would not lose a lap here. This is a big 2 mile oval, though. So, yes, Bobby Terrell able to stay on the lead lap. That is big. Right now, you see the speed of Lane Allen coming underneath our leader, the 81, Ronnie Royal. Not quite there yet. He's going to try and wait for 3 here and get him off the corner.
Yeah, if you look at the back of that 14,
Wow!
very close.
The speed through the middle of the corner really apparent there. Unbelievable. And the leader had to scare the crap out of the 81, Ronnie Royal.
Oh, absolutely. You know, right now, currently our leader, Ronnie Royal, he's going to be running about a 42-1. As Bobby Turrell, obviously, he's already pitted. He's running a 39.60.
And Jared
So,
Carr's in.
so a massive difference in splits as far as speed goes. So we're really going to see a little bit of a difference in pit strategy here. You know, one stop versus two stops. So which one's the fastest? We're going to have to wait and find out.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to wait and see how this all plays out. But right now, Ronnie Royal leading lap 35 of 88, coming up on lap 36, continuing to run, continuing to open up a little bit of a lead. Second place was Jason Spear, but he's been passed again by Brody Hanna as these guys continue to swap spots, and it's really costing them a lot of time on the track.
Yeah, it really is. As you see the 7 of Jared Carr coming out, he's going to come out, looks like about even with our leader. So he's not going to go a lap down either. And he pitted farther back than the 81 of Ronnie Royal. So that kind of tells you just how slower the 81 of Ronnie Royal is circuiting this racetrack versus the cars on fresh tires. So this could be very important. Even if a caution comes out, Bobby Terrell and Jared Carr will not be one lap down, and that's very important.
It's super important as we continue to watch this 4-car battle here for second place. Unbelievable as Terry Cooper Jr. down to the inside of the 83. He's going to try and make it stick down there and take this spot away. You know, Jason Spears really doing a nice job on that high side through 1 and 2, though, Brad.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, Terry Cooper Jr. is going to be on the bottom. It looks like Baron Labasco, he's going to decide to go to the bottom. But Jason Spears is able to hold that top, not necessarily going to have to get out of the throttle nearly as quick. He's going to have a better exit of the corner where the 54 of Labasco and Crew and Cooper Jr., they're going to have to let out the throttle a little bit more, so they're not going to be able to carry that momentum down that front stretch.
All this battling just allows that 81 to get further away, now pushing up over a 1.5-second lead. And now the problem with trying to let Terry Cooper Jr. go is Baron Labasco wants by as well as this 4-car battle rages on.
Absolutely, and that 4-car battle is about to have a 5th car. Sherwood Williford in that 33. Whoa, I just saw one car having a little bit of problems on that backstretch. If I can find it.
33's been looking really good, patiently waiting. He's seeing this battle. He's like, I don't really want any part of this battle. Let's continue to save my stuff, maybe fuel. As we're approaching, we're on lap 39 of 88, coming up on lap 40. I mean, my goodness, these guys looking like they can make it the distance.
Absolutely. Casey McMullen in that 71, we can assure that he's going to make the distance. He's about 11 seconds back on our leader, currently in the 8th position, followed closely by the 43 of David Hensley and Stephen Loomis. Those cars are the ones that we figured that was going to be playing that kind of a pit strategy. So it's going to be interesting to see if these top 6, top 7 cars running quick lap times are going to be able to do the same strategy, or whether they needed to give up a little bit more speed early in this run to really solidify making it to the end.
Yeah, it might be the case, but you take Casey McMullen Sr., I know from past experience at this track, he's just not enjoying drive.
Contact on the racetrack. 83 of Jason Spear and Baron Labasco got into each other in the entry of the middle of 1 and 2 and really got each other upset. Labasco to the inside was able to collect it back.
Very interesting there. We missed that one, unfortunately. But the 54 now ahead. Looks like the 83 wants back to his bumper.
Yeah, the 33 is going to close in, and the 12 also is going to be right there. The 12, obviously, on fresher tires, is going to be able to pull to the inside of the 33 and pull right up to the back of the 83. You know, just so much is to be said about fresh tires. He's able to put it all the way down on the bottom and just go right by these guys. But very tense moments there.
There really is. As they start to settle out these spots here, all of that fighting allowed Terry Cooper Jr. and the 23 of Brody Hanna to break away, but they've got a lot of work to find that 81, and Ronnie Royal continues to lead. Coming down on the completion of lap 41 of 88 here, looking more and more like everybody can make it, and Bobby Terrell might be the big loser here, hung out to dry. He's currently shown at 11th place, so he's making up time. I mean, he's only 24 back right now.
Yeah, that's really the strategy here. Which one was the better? You know, 2 stops, 1 stop. Currently looks like Ronnie Royals in the catbird seat, but closely followed behind is Terry Cooper Jr., Brody Hanna, Baron Labasco, as the 12 of Will Long going to go to the inside of the 23 of Brody Hanna as they continue to make their way through the field. It looks like the 83 of Jason Spear is going to be coming to pit road right now. Lap 42, Jason Spear to pit road.
And their leader, Ronnie Royal, is in on 42, headed to lap 43. So they're short right now. This could be big for Bobby Terrell. If everybody comes in and does these pits and has to pit a second time, this could be huge.
Yeah, the question now is, are they pitting because they just made it to that window of being able to make it on 1 stop, or are they completely out of fuel where they got to pit? It's going to be very interesting to see what the 25 of Terry Cooper Jr., the 23 of Brody Hanna do, as it sounds like they're coming to pit road, so I got to think that they're going to be short.
I think everybody's running out of gas. You got Casey McMullen Sr. You know he's been saving. He's going to make it more than likely. Maybe TJ.
The 23 on entrance to pit road was able to get around the 25 and slid in. It's going to be interesting to see if he gets a penalty. He was all kinds of lock the brakes up sideways trying to get on the pit road there.
Well, I can tell you the 23, the best in the business at getting in pit road. He once gapped me 5 seconds by getting on pit road and off it that much faster. It was
Our
unbelievable.
leader on the track, Baron Labasco, out of gas on the backstretch.
Oh,
we
no!
now know they will not make it. He is on lap 44. He will not make it back around. A huge miscalculation, out of gas leading.
Wow. So these guys, this is truly dynamic situation here. Running out of gas, Baron Bosco, I don't believe my eyes. That's right now, Brody Hanna's in the pits. He might be able to make it. The 71 right now is still on the track, our current race leader. He has completed half this race. He can make it, and he's doing one more. So he's going to be good to go, no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
And then you got Bobby Terrell. Bobby Terrell's only 7 seconds back of our race leader, the 71. So this is going to be such an interesting dynamic here.
Once these pit cycles cycle through, we're going to have Bobby Terrell being our leader. Jared Carr is going to be about 4.5 seconds back, and then quite a bit of distance back to the 81 of Ronnie Royal. Once this all cycles through, they're going to have about a 12 to 15 second lead on Ronnie Royal, but we're assuming that everybody's going to have to pit at least one more time. But at the same time, I think we're going to see a couple of drivers really starting to dial back that throttle. So that's going to be very interesting because some guys we know will not make it to the end on their current strategy. So they're going to have to give up time.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Now the question is, Brad, why weren't these calculations done? Why would you drive in a way to push your car so hard and still go all the way to lap 42 before pitting? Why not pit on lap 30, lap 29, whatever, a third of that race, like Bobby Terrell did?
Well, you know what? Some of the calculations were done. They were done by our pole sitter, Casey McMullen, arguably the fastest car in a one lap. He was able to scrub off enough speed. He came in 11, gave up 11 seconds to the leader. But you know what? He hit his mark. He hit his pit mark. So that could be the distance winning and losing this race. He is not going to have to pit again.
He's not currently showing in fifth or first, but I think he's going to fall to 15th position currently. We'll wait for this scoring loop to come through here.
I think he'll be all right with 15th because he does not have to come to pit road again. Everyone else on the track will.
As we reset it here, and currently shown in ninth. So he only fell to ninth place apparently, and that's quite interesting. That's not so bad.
No, he did not lose a lap. I think that's the biggest thing. Even if we do get a caution, he is still on the lead lap. So even for the strategy that was played, a caution could wipe all of that out without a doubt. I think we would see every car, come to pit road, 4 fresh tires, full of fuel, be able to make it to the end. And the biggest thing there is not losing the lead lap. As it looks like the first car 1 lap down is going to be Brody Hannon at 23.
So look at what happened here. Bobby Terrell came in on, basically a scheduled stop at a third of the way. He has opened up 12, 13 seconds over Ronnie Royal. Jared Carr came in, a little earlier than most. He only lost 4 seconds to Bobby and gained over 8 seconds on Ronnie Royal. These two guys, the 4 and the 7, playing that strategy the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, they have played that strategy the best, but we know that those are the 2 cars that for sure are not going to be able to pedal it. They're not going to be able to slow their lap time down. They know that those are the cars that are going to have to just go as fast as they can for every lap because they're going to come to pit road. They're going to have to get 4 fresh tires, and they're going to have to really try to get the lap time in. Looking back further in our field, 12th place Brody Hannon, the 23. I gotta believe that he got a penalty on that pit road from fraction. I gotta think with being 1 lap down, he should be closer up into the 6th, 7th position. So being a lap down, I gotta think that he had a penalty on that pit road.
Yeah, he must have had a penalty. That'll kill him after dominating the race last time here. That's got to be heart-wrenching for him. So we've circled through the top 10 there as we finish at Matthew Gerringer here in the 11, making his way up to 10th place, having a solid run and a solid night.
Yeah, absolutely. As back up front, we got Bobby Terrell, and then we got Jared Carr. Actually, making a little bit of time on Bobby Terrell. So I don't know if Bobby's trying to stretch it just a little bit, maybe thinking about a little gas and go as Jared's been able to pull back a little bit of a lead. He's currently under 4 seconds, and we're going to have Ronnie Royal, Terry Cooper Jr. in 4th position, followed by Jason Spear. And then we have a little bit of a battle between Will Long and TJ Bartel. They're not going anywhere. They've been battling all night long. So it's going to be very interesting to see because it's really spread the entire field out. We don't have any very close battles, but the pit battle is the biggest thing right now. The guys are going to have to get on and off pit road, several different strategies, and some guys are really starting to eat into that lead as Ronnie Royal has cut that lead down to 10 seconds.
Yeah, the drama on the track might not be visible currently, but it is still there. And if you haven't seen our races with this full throttle sim racing before, you just wait till the end of this. We've seen it all. Guys running out of gas on lap 4, or on turn 4 to lose the race. We've seen others come out of the blue and win it. We've seen a very late caution, and all of a sudden someone from 5th, 6th, 7th come in and steal the victory. We've seen it all in these series.
Yeah, we really have. And, sometimes our KG veterans, your Bobby Terrells, your Ronnie Royal, Terry Cooper Jr., Sherwood Williford, Casey McMullen, those are the guys that always play the numbers, if you will. Bobby Terrell on one strategy, he's going to play the 2-stopper, side on the fact of having a fast race car, being able to make fast lap times. Casey McMullen in that 71, he's going to say, okay, I'm going to dial it back a little bit. I got a fast race car, dial it back. I'm going to go for the long run here and try to make the distance. So which one of those is right? In about, let's say 34 laps, we're going to find out.
Well, what is the lap time? Because that's really, to do a full pit stop, that's just about the time it's going to take you to get in and off a pit road.
Well, currently it looks like we're going to find Bobby Terrell's last lap was a 41:30. Casey McMullen, who we know is good to make it, he's running a 41:20. I got to think he's running to a lap time not necessarily as fast as he
He might,
can
but more
run.
importantly, he's 33, 34 seconds behind Bobby. Bobby, essentially, with that pit stop, is actually 7 seconds behind Casey. So it's all very interesting. Bobby running slightly faster on the track. Can he make up those 4 seconds? When will he pit? Will he pit earlier? You got to think he pitted on that third. So he's going to pit with about 25 to 30 laps to go. And I think he can make up the time if he does that. If he waits till the very end, he might not be able to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like, all right, so Bobby pitted on lap 31. He did a 51.70 on lap 31 and a minute 11 on 32. So quite a bit of time lost there. But then he was able to gain over 2 seconds a lap on the competition for probably about 15 laps. So that would be very close to really closing in on the gap. So it might be one of those differences where you got one guy saving it and you got one guy going all the way out, and they finish within a couple hundred yards of each other.
It might be so intriguing. Right now, him and Casey McMullen virtually mirroring each other's times from what I can tell. That distance seems to be, if anything, I think Casey McMullen might be running the faster times.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now I'm looking at that 81 at Ronnie Roll. Been able to close it down to 6.8 seconds to our leader, just about 3 seconds back from Jared Carr. He's the one, in my opinion, that really has to make the decision because he's in a catbird seat. I don't think he can necessarily make it all the way, but he could possibly short pit that 4 and that 7 and be able to leapfrog them and get the advantage over them. And then it's just a matter of whether or not Casey McMullen's fast enough to overtake everybody.
Well, and then we talk about the pit time. That's about the same as the lap time, 41, something like that seconds. Now, what about the gas and go? How much time can you shave off that? Is it worth it? So much to think about.
Yeah, and that's why gas mileage races and any type of strategy races, you're just gonna pull your hair out trying to figure it out. There's 30 billion scenarios, and then all of a sudden you get a caution, and every single one of them are out the window.
Yeah, definitely got to get out the special computer for all the computations you got to do. Right now, Bobby Terrell, your race leader. Jared Carr having an excellent race, sitting in second place. Ronnie Royal running third. Jason Spear back in fourth place. Terry Cooper Jr. hunting, sitting in fifth. TJ Bartell, I believe he's on a one-stopper. I'm not sure about that, but he probably is. He's up to sixth place. Sherwood Williford sitting in seventh. Will Long in eighth. Casey McMullen Sr. back in ninth. And Stephen Loomis has cracked the top 10, having a nice night for himself. And I take it back about TJ Bartell. I don't think he's on a one-stopper.
I think he's on a two-stopper. You also have Matthew Garrigan in the 11th position. And then unfortunately, you got Brody Hanna and Baron Labosco, are two drivers that didn't have very good pit stop. Brody Hanna was able to come to pit road, but unfortunately, I believe he had a pit road speeding penalty. Baron Labosco, we know he ran out of fuel. Those two are currently in 11th and 12th. They're kind of just cruising around, trying to make something out of it. The guys are actually kind of, giving a little bit of nudge to each other, having a little fun with each other because of their instances. So, one of those nights that what could have been, for both of those competitors.
Yeah, the woulda, coulda, shouldas. You never know.
Bobby Terrell, the pit road.
Bobby Terrell on schedule as always, down on pit road. Excellent move, in my opinion, from the four. That's going to give him plenty of time to try and make up that time. We're going to see just how far he drops and how much time he loses. I believe this to be a race-winning move from the four.
Yeah, I absolutely think it's a great move. But now what you got to look at is you got to look at that 7, and more importantly, you got to look at the 81 of Ronnie Royal as we got a car slow on the front stretch. Looks like Matthew Geringer had some issues, was very slow in the front stretch, able to pull away. Did manage to go a lap down, but going back to our leaders there, Jared Carr, Ronnie Roa. Ronnie Roa was able to make up quite a bit of time on our leaders. Currently just 1.1 seconds behind Jared Carr. If he was to pit, he would make up quite a bit of distance on our leaders, but I think he's got a little bit fresher tires right now. Probably going to want to go another extra 5 or 10 laps, but I probably wouldn't run it as long as I did in that first stint to make up the time on Bobby Terrell.
No, because Bobby Terrell come out again on the lead lap, right at the tail end of it, and he is setting sail. So that 7 needs to get on pit road, and he needs to get there now.
Absolutely. And the biggest factor that we need to look at is we look at the 71 of Casey McMullen. He's currently 27 seconds back from our leader, but then you got Bobby Turtle at 35. So there's a net, call it 8 seconds between the two. We know Bobby Turtle right now, he's going to be turning some monstrous lap times trying to make the difference. As he crosses the line at let's see what we got, a 39.40. Casey McMullen, a 41.30. So we're talking about a second and a lap faster as Casey McMullen is. He's cut that down to about 5 seconds. So that is in my opinion, at least, the battle for the lead is between that 71 of Casey McMullen and the 4 of Bobby Terrell.
Yeah, unfortunately for Casey McMullen, I don't know. He's not going to be able to hold that spot for long, I don't think. But he's definitely going to get a net gain. He was running outside of the top 10, and he's going to come in anywhere from second to fifth if he can finish this race. But Bobby Terrell already there. He's already just a few seconds back. He will retake this lead. Well, not the lead. The lead after we cycle through. Ronnie Royal and Jared Carr, they have got to get on pit road. Ronnie Royal doing just that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great move for Ronnie Royal. He got right to the back of our leader, of Jared Carr, and he decided he was going to come to pit road. I think that's going to be one of the best decisions he could have made. He's not going to lose too much time with Bobby Turner. I think he might even be able to catch Casey McMullen. So he's setting himself up for a very pretty race.
Yeah, I think this is a wise decision. We'll see as we look in on Jared Carr. If Jared Carr decides to follow, no, he is going to stay out. Jared Carr deciding to play a different strategy, which I like as well. I like everybody who does something different. So if he's going to stay out, perhaps a caution. We see it all the time. These green flag races, and then out of the blue, tend to go caution flies, and it just resets everything. So he could be a race winner. Who knows? Spear is in right now, though.
Yeah, I think if you're Jared Carr, you were fast right out of the gun. Unfortunately, they were able to come by you, as he's not even able to get by the 81 of Ronnie Rowe to put him a lap down. Ronnie Rowe is going to be on the inside. He's going to be easily going to be able to stay on the lead lap. So if you're Jared Carr, you got to run this out. You got to hope for a caution. As more people come down pit road and they're going to go a lap down as you continue to circle the racetrack, you gotta go for the win here.
Yeah, at this point, it might be too late to pit. I mean, unless you're just thinking points night. But I think if you're the 7, Jared Carr, not really in the points battle at this point. He's thinking race win. He needs that caution badly. And we look back at the 71. I think Bobby Terrell has already passed him, so that battle is not going to materialize. The 4 has already passed Casey McMullen. He sets sail and sets his sights now. He's sitting in 4th. He'll be looking forward to. He's sitting in 5th. He'll be looking forward to 4th in Sherwood Williford. Interesting developments across the board. Could we have the gas and go? We haven't even talked about Terry Cooper Jr. He's lingering around here, 7 seconds behind our leader. He's doing a great job, having a great run. TJ Bartell still out on the track, running in 3rd place. He's having a great run as we see the 33 Sherwood Williford come down pit road.
Yeah, I got to think currently right now, the move of the race would be Bobby Turrell with that pit strategy. He's currently 23 seconds behind our leader, Jared Carr. We know Jared Carr's got to come to pit road. Terry Cooper Jr., another one of those cars, is actually Jared Carr, our leader, coming to pit road this time. TJ Bartell, we know he's got to come to pit road. So Bobby Turrell, 23.9 back from our leader. Sitting in the catbird seat. He's about 2.5 seconds back ahead of Casey McMullen, who we all assume is going to be the next car currently on the lead lap. So I think really the race win of the race was Bobby Turrell in that strategy.
Yeah, excellent call. It doesn't always go your way, but are we certain? Are we certain Terry Cooper can't make it? Are we certain TJ Bartell can't make it? I'm not.
No, there's nothing to say that nothing will ever happen, but at the same time, Bobby Turrell, he's currently 15 seconds back, so he's making up a lot of time for these guys. These guys are really going to have to lose time on the racetrack in order, I think, to stretch it, and that might also play into the hands of Bobby Turrell.
It absolutely might. So much to think about, so much developing, including some great runs as we look back at some of these guys like Stephen Loomis sitting here currently. It's showing him on my board on first. He's not in first, but Stephen Loomis running in seventh place, perhaps losing a spot or two right there, but having himself a nice night. Jason Spears still having a nice night, running in eighth, perhaps a little higher after getting by Stephen Loomis. Will Long's having a good run tonight.
Absolutely, as we see interesting development. Jared Carr, I believe, only took 2 tires, was able to come back out in the sixth position. Didn't lose a lot of track time, was able to come out in front of Jason Spear. It's going to be interesting to see if he's ever going to be able to track down Ronnie Royal to get back into that top five. But Jared's car with two tires pit stop.
That is interesting. So Jared Carr being, trying to make a different play. You gotta love it. See how it plays out here. Sitting in sixth, he had a great car tonight. Started up front. I think he started about third and worked his way right to the point, right out of the gate in the first lap. But right now, our race leader, Terry Cooper Jr., continuing to go here. We're down to 18 to go. The 25 leading the way. And I think if he could make this gas work, him and TJ Bartel, if these two can stretch the fuel, they can beat Bobby Terrell.
Well, this is going to be very interesting because currently, I don't know if Terry Cooper Jr. is just saving fuel or TJ Bartel's just got a much better handle than race car. Right now, TJ Bartel's 2 to 3 tenths a second a lap faster than Terry Cooper Jr. Now, if I was Terry Cooper Jr. and I had a 2.8 second lead, I'm going to just let it out and try to save as much fuel as I can without a doubt, knowing that Bobby Terrell's back there in 11 seconds, full tank of gas, he's going to make it. But it's going to be interesting to see what exactly is what here as Terry Cooper Jr. that last lap with the 41.90 to TJ Bartel's 49.40, so a half a second slower. I gotta be thinking Terry Cooper Jr.'s in fuel conservation mode.
Yeah, he just might be. I mean, why not? There's another guy really not racing for points. He wants his win, and the only way to get it is to make it to the end. So give it a shot. Try and milk that tank a little bit, maybe clutching a bit in the corners, trying to milk it for all it's worth as Bobby Terrell works that lead down to about 9.5 seconds now, and we're on 16 to go. So he's have to do better than a half second a lap to catch these guys.
Yeah, and currently he's running relatively fast lap times. So we pan back to our fourth place position of Casey McMullen. You know, he's getting closed in right now by the 81 of Ronnie Royal. Ronnie Royal, we know, came in, was able to get 4 fresh tires. We know he's got enough fuel to the end. It's Casey McMullen. We know he's probably saving it a little bit, giving up a little lap time as the 81's easily being able to go by him in 1 and 2. So move Ronnie Royal into that top 5 and Casey McMullen back to 5th.
Yeah, Ronnie Royal still trying to think about catching Bobby. He's not going to catch him out from 8 seconds back, I don't believe. But the battle right now, still Terry Cooper Jr., TJ Bartel, really, the gap is not dwindling as quickly as it once was. We're down to about 8 seconds here with 15 to go. Super interesting as those tires starting to even out. The 4 car doesn't gain quite as much lap in and lap out. He's still much faster, but he gets worse every lap, and I don't know if he can make this time up or not.
Yeah, I don't know. These guys are also having to deal with lap traffic, you know, cars that are much faster than them on the racetrack with fresher tires. You know, that last lap, the 33 of Sherwood Williford, you know, to the inside of our leader, Terry Cooper Jr., able to pass him and just set sail as TJ Bartel again takes another 3.5 tenths of a second out of our leader, Terry Cooper Jr., cuts the lead down to about 1.7 as Bobby Terrell down to 7.6. So it's going to be very interesting in these closing laps, just exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, as we flish the camera back to Bobby Terrell, and you can see he's made his way up here. He is in heavy traffic, though, and 14 to go. This is going to really test what he's got and how quickly he can get through this traffic now.
Yeah, and at the same time, you know, this might actually help Bobby Terrell. You know, we know draft is a very big thing. Oh, it's the 14. comes to pit road right in front of the 17 of Stevens Loomis there, almost caused some incidents. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here as, you know, traffic will affect him, but he'll also get a little bit of draft after that.
A little bit of strange action there from teammates to almost run over each other there, the pit road thing. But Bobby Terrell, he's going to be thankful. That's going to open up the track a little bit for him, and he's going to set sail once again and try and hunt these leaders down. Right now, Terry Cooper Jr. leading. TJ Bartell in second place. Bobby Terrell about 6.5 to 7 seconds back. We're on 12 to go.
Yeah, and if you watch Terry Cooper Jr., our leader right now, he's trying to take this the lowest possible line around this racetrack, use the least amount of mileage around it. He's going to be on the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to be down the apron trying to use the least amount of gas as he can as TJ Bartell continues to close in on the back, and then Bobby Terrell continues to close in on the back of him. So it's going to be very interesting.
We hop in the car of Terry Cooper Jr. and you could hear completely out of the throttle, clutching, I believe, going through 3 and 4. So he is saving. He is trying to make it. We'll watch him right down into 1 here.
It could be very interesting. It looks like Terry Cooper Jr. last pitted on lap 44. So he cut it exactly in half. He knows his mark that he's got to hit. It's just going to be a matter of whether or not it's good enough. As we got the 98 closing in on the back of him. Under a second now as TJ Bartell closes in on the back. TJ Bartell last pitted, let's see. He last pitted as well on lap 44, so they both have a number that they're trying to hit. They know exactly what they need to do to hit it. Who's going to be the one that judges this correctly?
This is absolutely fascinating to watch. TJ running a little harder, catching our leader. Bobby Terrell making time on both of them. We're on 10 to go. Bobby Terrell over 5 seconds back. He needs better than a half second a lap on these guys. I don't know if he has it. TJ Bartell coming right up to the bumper of Terry Cooper. Apparently really milking the gas, and Terry Cooper is much more than TJ Bartell is.
Yeah, absolutely. Terry Cooper Jr. is currently running a 41.90. TJ Bartell a 41.40. Bobby Terrell trying to reel them both in at a 41.40, so that's not going to cut it. He's running just as fast as TJ Bartell. The difference is TJ Bartell running it too fast as he's closes in right on the back of Terry Cooper Jr. for a battle for the lead.
Well, that's what you got to decide if you're Terry Cooper. Do I fight him or give him the lead and assume he has got to stop again? Because TJ, I don't believe, can make it. Maybe he can. I don't know.
I got to think with both of them on the same strategy. I got to think TJ is going to run out of fuel early. Terry Cooper Jr. would be better just to let him go and, try to conserve as much fuel as we can. As, Bobby Terrell down to 4.5 second lead. Terry Cooper Jr. is going to push it a little bit further. Going to run to the high side. As, TJ Bartell to the inside is going to be able to take the lead.
Put TJ Bartell to the lead now, late in this race. Unbelievable job. The 98 on the point once again. TJ Bartell having himself a night. Can he make it? 8 to go.
And the other thing you got to ask yourself is, how cagey is Terry Cooper Jr.? He might realize, hey, if I let TJ Bartell in front of me, I could just sit back behind him. I can draft. I can gain a little bit of speed, use a little bit of less fuel. So this could be a tactician's move right here to put the victory in.
It really could be. This is really dynamic stuff here. TJ Bartell leading. Terry Cooper Jr. still saving a little fuel, riding there in second. We're down to 7 to go, and Bobby Terrell still 4 back. I don't think he's got enough to get there.
I'll tell you what, I'm checking in on those lap times now, and TJ Bartell running a 41.50. Terry Cooper Jr. at 41.60. Bobby Terrell at 41.30. So we're about 3/10 of a second, sometimes a half a second a lap faster. As we look back at Bobby Terrell as the 14 of Lane Allen's going to push him to the outside. We got another Matthew Geringer. Looks like he's out of fuel going down the backstretch.
Geringer down to pit road, perhaps out of fuel. But back to the action at hand. Bobby Terrell just not going to have enough to get to these guys. It's all about these two. Can they make it? The 98 leading. The 25 seemingly starting to speed up a little bit. He's got trouble on the outside of him there. That's Baron Labasco, and that's hindering his progress here.
Yeah, it absolutely is. You saw a couple of times where Terry Cooper Jr. just wasn't able to get the exit that he wanted. He had to check up a little bit because Baron Labasco is out there on the outside. He's having to dive it in just a little bit deeper than he wants to, and he can't wash up the racetrack because he's got Baron Labasco on the outside. So that's going to be very frustrating for a driver really fighting for the win, dealing with lap traffic.
Well, that's another point too. Frustration. Will you let it get it to you? You know, some of these guys, these newer guys to the league, aren't used to these long runs and that, and get easily frustrated. Does that throw him for a loop? I don't know. At this point, it's TJ Bartel's race to win. The only question: can he make it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Terry Cooper Jr. That last lap lost about a half a second to our leader, TJ Bartel, dealing with that lap traffic. So it's going to be very interesting. Right now, I think I agree with you. I think it's about whether or not he can make it as we're coming into, looks like about 4 to go. Will he have enough fuel? I don't think
Yeah,
Bobby Turtle is going to get there.
4 to go. Bobby Terrell might get to Cooper Jr. He's not going to get to TJ Bartel in the 98. This AC Delco car. I mean, it's unbelievable. TJ just having a routine night, you know, a decent night. But here he is now, our race leader, looking awesome, looking like he's got it. We've seen it before. People running out of fuel, coming out of 4. I just want to close my eyes. I'm scared.
Oh, somebody's going to run out of fuel. It's just, hopefully it doesn't bring out a caution, and hopefully it's not our leader.
Hopefully so. TJ, one more lap completed. Coming to the line. 3 to go for the 98 machine.
Now, I would think if TJ's really worried about making that lap time, you know, he's got a 1.8 second lead on Terry Cooper Jr. I would expect that his lap time would have fall off a lot more than it did on that last particular lap. Terry Cooper Jr. running a 42 flat, TJ Bartel, I'm sorry, running a 41.90. You know, Bobby Terrell running, let's see what he's running, 42.20. So definitely faster, but I would think if TJ Bartel was really worried about lap times, really worried about making it, he would have backed off, especially with the amount of lead he's got.
Yeah, absolutely. As right now, we come down to 2 to go for the 98. The 4 of Bobby Terrell has made it to the bumper of Terry Cooper Jr. He's probably going to make that pass, but it's all about fuel mileage. Can the 98 make it at this point?
Absolutely. You know, with Bobby Terrell so close, you know, he can't afford to necessarily back off a half a second a lap, or the 4 car is going to be right on top of him as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. But TJ Bartel still doing it. He's coming through 4. He's going to make it through this lap. He's going to come to the line for the white flag. 1 to go for the AC Delco 98 of TJ Bartel.
I think we need to go in car on this last lap. We'll know exactly if he's going to run out of fuel or not. It's TJ Bartel. He's going to make his way into turn 1 and 2, try to be as precise as he can and not use nearly the gas he can. He's going to be able to fall in line, use the 54 of Baron Labasco as a little bit of a draft, possibly save a little bit of fuel down the backstretch. Will he make it down the backstretch and into 3 and 4 and have enough fuel?
It sounds like he's got it. He's coming through here. Still running. He's through 3. The 98 coming through 4. Full speed. Still running. He's down low on the track. He's running out. He's running out of gas. Here comes Bobby Terrell at the line. Bobby Terrell with the win. Oh my God. At the line. The 4 car has stolen victory away from TJ Bartel.
We were on board going through 3 and 4. You heard it start to sputter coming out at 4. Just didn't have quite enough. I mean, that's got to be gut-wrenching for the 98 TJ Bartel.
Wow. Again, we have it happen. Right out of 4, he was clean, and then it started to sputter. He started to lose it. The 4 came like a rocket around there. Steals the win. Unbelievable action. I think we'll get a fast replay on this. Oh my goodness.
These fuel mileage races, you know, they just mess with you in so many different ways.
They really do. As we left the in-car camera there a little bit early because we wanted to get the view in case Bobby did pass, which we did get the view of. But here we are back as we in the in-car camera of the 98 of TJ Bartel. You hear his engine doing fine coming down into 3. Oh, and it's starting to sputter. You hear it? He's going down low. And we'll be looking for Bobby on the high side. Oh, and he sees the line, and then he sees Bobby. Oh, the pain. So close, just trying to reach out the window at that start-finish line. Wow, what a finish.
Oh man, that was a beautiful race. Start to finish, green flag. Can't say enough about the competitors here in the FTSR Racing Series. To be able to have a finish like that, I mean, put it all out there for 88 laps, varying strategies, different. Who was right, who was wrong? 50 feet. 50 feet. You could have clutched it. Yeah, clutching it in 2 corners could have made the difference in that race, and that's what makes the series so great.
It was truly amazing to watch. Your results here, Bobby Terrell in the 4, your race winner and series leader, stealing it up, well, outplaying him, outthinking him, doing a great job in the 4. What a race by Bobby. TJ Bartel with a brilliant second place finish, almost so close to the victory. Terry Cooper Jr. in the 25, just like TJ, he was leading up till the end. He was clutching a little bit more, saving that gas, saved a little more than TJ, but it cost him on the track. He'll take 3rd. Jared Carr, our early leader, ran a little hard, took 2 tires. He's going to come home 4th. A solid race from Jared Carr. The 81 of Ronnie Royal with another top 5. Just an excellent race from him as well. Jason Spear in the 83 will be in 6th. 7th place will go to Casey McMullen Sr. in the 71. The 33 of Casey McMullen Sr. will be in 7th. 33 of Sherwood Wilford will be in 8th. The 12 of Will Long will be 9th. And Baron Labosco in the 54 makes his return in 10th place.
Absolutely. 11th is going to be the 23 of Brody Hanna. 17 of Stephen Loomis is going to come home in 12th. 13th is going to be that 43 of David Hensley. 14th, Lane Allen. Matthew Geringer, we saw him run on the field. Going to come home in the 15th position, followed by Tracy Powers, Brandon Elder. All in all, one heck of a race. We saw a little bit of everything. We saw strategy. We saw hard racing. I got to sit there and think that, the difference between Bobby Terrell and essentially Ronnie Royal that was running right on the back of him the entire time was just the difference of when we pit in that first segment. I think Bobby Terrell about 10, 15 laps before Ronnie Royal, and that was ultimately the difference between 1st and 5th.
Man, I am out of breath. Incredible action. I mean, I can't believe the finishes we've seen this year, Brad, not only in this series, but in the truck series as well. The entertainment level is beyond belief. This is just incredible stuff. Right now, though, we got to catch our breath. We come back, we get interviews with our top 3 finishers. We'll talk to the hard luck second place finisher and TJ Bartel and the race winner Bobby Terrell, along with Terry Cooper Jr. We'll do all that right after this short break.
We are back at North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, where the field is rolling out for the start of today's 400-lap race on this .625-mile racetrack. And just as the field comes all around turn number 4, the sunshine peeks through, helping warm things here. Bill Elliott leads him down. Benny Parsons on the outside. The green flag flies, and the first Union 400 Winston Cup race from North Wilkesboro is underway. Everybody nicely through turns number 1 and 2 as Bill Elliott has the lead and Dale Earnhardt has jumped into second position, followed by Benny Parsons and Bobby Allison. So here we go. It's just about to go away. They bump coming out of turn 4. Earnhardt gets the lead. We had just heard from our spotters that Neil Bonnett is on his last lap. This will be his 24th career win. Dale Earnhardt wins the first Union 400 at North Wilkesboro.
All right, welcome back here to the EventHelper.com 175 in the Gearhead Coffee Grand National Series from Mission International Speedway. What a race we had, Brad, and this is, what more can we say than what we've already said about just an incredible action and an incredible league.
Yeah, I mean, really, that it's just it says worlds, about everything that Brody Hanna and everybody's put on here, FTSR race, and these leagues week in week out race every single race, green flag racing, minimal cautions, tire rule, stiff competitions. I mean, you got to do something like what happened tonight with serious strategy to make it happen.
You really do. And right now, let's get right into interviews as I got third place at 25, Terry Cooper Jr. A great race, highly entertaining, a little frustrating, but third place, solid finish, man.
Yeah, man. I'm happy with the car. It's not the finish I wanted, but ran out of gas coming out of 4.
So you ran out as well, as did TJ. I mean, snake bit at the line, could taste it. I mean, talk a little bit about the car itself and how it ran early on in the race.
Oh, we were really fast early on. I was pedaling it really hard. I was watching the fuel mileage, and I'm thinking I can make it halfway. So I was pedaling it, letting some people go and letting it come in on the long run. But after the pit stop, I had nobody in front of me to draft, and I was battling the fuel mileage the whole way.
Right, yeah, the draft big for the fuel mileage when guys get spread out can change it up a little bit. So let's switch gears here, head into later in the race or very late in the race. You're out front, you're obviously clutching it or pedaling it, as you say, and TJ Bartel gets around you. Now, you ran out, you said, out of 4, so that was something you had to do, is try and conserve, correct?
Oh yeah, I was clutching it the last, I'd say, 35 laps. I got behind Jason for a little bit, and I was able to save some gas. And I was hoping someone would get in front of me, because when someone was in front of me, I was a lap to the good. But no, I was clutching it 30 laps to go, and I just had to do what I had to do to finish it, I guess.
Well, Terry, it was a little heartbreaking, but also a great strategy call with you guys making it halfway. Bobby on the 2-stopper gets you guys by running out of gas out of 4. But what a thrilling event, man. We thought you did an excellent job out there, and congrats on a third place finish.
Oh, thanks, Dean. I appreciate it. Yeah, I was checking the relative. I was watching Bobby. I was thinking, oh, he's gonna pass me. He's gonna pass me, and sure enough, he passed me.
He did like a rocket. It was unbelievable. Right now, we'll give you the floor, Terry. Anybody you want to thank or anything like that?
Yeah, I want to thank Blackwater. Without those guys, this wouldn't have been possible. And thank you guys for broadcasting, and thank Brody for the league and all the good racing out there.
All right, Brad, that's our third place finisher, Terry Cooper Jr.
Yeah, that's a great thing. I'm standing by our second place finisher, the heartbreak of the night. TJ Bartel, the number 98. TJ, you made the strategy. You made it work in the first half. You made it to halfway. What could you have done different to possibly seal that deal? I mean, it looks like you were 70 yards from the finish and being able to make it to victory lane here.
I guess, once I got close to the 25, I should have been a little bit more conscious of still trying to save some fuel instead of, trying to push him to run him out.
Yeah, that's one thing we were noticing up in the booth. You were able to get by the 25, but yet you kept on the pace, and it seemed like he was able to back off a little bit. You got yourself a little bit of good lead, but you continued to kind of push on. And at that point in time, we thought for sure you were perfect on the lead. As at the end of the day, as we were with you on turn 3 and 4 in your in-car camera, we heard that motor start to sputter and coming out of 4, and Oh man, that's got to be the worst feeling. But at the same time, you were to rally back, started 12th on this grid, come home second place. I mean, it's got to be something good for your momentum and some good building effort.
Yeah, I mean, it was encouraging to have a good solid car all night. I knew we weren't going to have the, lightning fast speed. So we kind of went for a little bit more handling so it wouldn't get so loose. Kept it more manageable and kind of went with a little bit different gear than everybody else had, just trying to make it to halfway. And the second run with 20 to go, checked the fuel and it looked like I was going to be, good to make it to the finish line. And I guess I just didn't stay disciplined enough and didn't save enough for that last little bit, because I wouldn't have taken much out of 4 and I would have been able to, get it to the line, but it just didn't work out.
No, absolutely. And you know what? It's very hard for a race car driver to be disciplined. The one thing we want to do is we want to go fast all the time. But you know what? TJ Bartel started 12th on this grid, came home second. 70 yards probably was the difference. But at the end of the day, still a great run. We're going to leave it up to you. We're going to let you thank any of your sponsors, anybody you have going on. The floor is yours, sir.
Thanks, Brad. I want to thank you and Dean for doing the broadcast. You guys do a really good job, and thank Gearhead Coffee for sponsoring this series, and FTSR, the league. The admins do a really good job, and my fellow racers are always fun to race around. I like Blackwater Products USA for all they do for full throttle sim racing, and it's just encouraging to have a really good car and have a good finish, even though we kind of came up a little short. But thank Ring Dog Rescue, AC Delco, Bass Pro Shops, and Chevrolet.
Oh, we thank you, sir. Congratulations on your second place finish. TJ Bartel finishing second place. Probably not going to get a more humble gentleman. Didn't quite work out the way he wanted tonight. But Dean, I believe you're standing by with somebody who worked out perfectly for.
Yeah, if we're going to find a more humble guy than TJ, maybe Bobby Terrell, but I don't know, man. Race winner here in the eventhelper.com 175. Bobby, what a thrilling ride it was from up here in the booth. You're closing in. Maybe can't make it, and then all of a sudden there's sputtering, and you come by like a rocket. We're going to call you Rocket Man tonight. Congratulations on the victory.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I mean, I think I had a little luck there, but they had to slow down and stretch their fuel mileage. I mean, I went with the 2-stop and they went with the 1-stop, and I didn't think it was going to work out. I figured I was just going to finish third, and like I said, and then Terry, I got around Terry, and I think he ran out. He was running out, and then I seen TJ in front of me, and I said, he can coast now. But then I seen him sputtering off of 4, so got lucky. Like I said, I barely got it, but hey, luck's luck.
Luck's luck, but you make your own luck, Bobby, and we thought you did a marvelous job of playing a correct strategy. You decided early we're going 2 stops. You broke them up appropriately. A lot of guys on 2-stoppers didn't. They went to lap 40 or something and didn't break up their race correct. They paid dearly for it. You played a great strategy, and talk a little bit about making that early decision.
I seen early on, like when I practice and stuff, that you could probably make it halfway if you slowed down and just really babied it and draft off somebody. But I decided early on, like I said, I could have made it to lap 43, but I was out front. I was burning fuel. And like I said, I knew, like when we got to going, and I thought Jared had the fastest car by far, but I'm sure he was burning it up, and I was riding and then kind of picked people off and just saving my right front. And then, like I said, pitted on, I think, lap 29 or 30, and then I think did the same thing again. And I didn't really make any adjustments, but I mean, even though the setup showed tight, I mean, I think everybody was fighting a loose condition. But I mean, it was manageable. I mean, I could drive it, but it worked out.
Did it ever, Bobby? I can't tell you how enjoyable a broadcast it was watching all the drama. We thought maybe Casey McMullen was a player for a while, and then we thought, Ronnie Royal was a player for a while. There was you, and then there was TJ and Terry and Jared, and a lot of switch ups, and all this made it a great, fun race to broadcast. Highly entertaining as always to watch you. Couldn't be happier to see you win this race, and congratulations, man. And you're going to open up a little bit more of the points lead here, give you a little comfort going into these final races.
Yeah, two races to go. I mean, I'm glad to at least get a win for the season because I hadn't done that yet, and that feels good to me. With all these, I call them super teams. It's kind of hard to compete against, but like I said, I got lucky. 1-1. I'll try to win Iowa. I like Iowa, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We got Iowa next week, and then you got the Road America, which is going to be interesting. I love that track personally. Can't wait to see it. But anyway, Bobby, thrilling night again. Big congratulations, man. The floor is yours. Anybody you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank y'all up there in the TV booth for everything that y'all do, and promoting the league, and the eventhelper.com for coming on board and sponsoring the event, and then like I said, all the admins in the league. I mean, if it wasn't for y'all, we couldn't do this, and then it just just that's it. And all the drivers, thanks.
You bet, Bobby. Well, we're thankful to have you. Brad, that's Bobby Terrell, race winner here tonight at Michigan.
Oh, absolutely. Race winner, points champion multiple times, currently our points leader. You can't find a better driver on the circuit, argumentatively, of course. We're going to have lots of guys, Biden for that position, but he was definitely in class of the field tonight. A little bit better strategy, but I think that's going to be in the eventhelper.com 175. And next week we're going to roll into Iowa, one of the last races of the season. We're going to have to see if Bobby Trail is going to be able to do something to put possibly a little cap on that points championship.
Yeah, well, you heard him say he likes it. That's got to strike fear in everybody's hearts when Bobby likes a track. Iowa, a lot of fun to drive. There'll be several guys who like that. Make sure you come out and watch that race next Thursday. We'll follow it up the following Thursday with the series-ending race at Road America. Unbelievable. Should be great to see the cars out there on that fabulous road track. But we also got the Truck Series, the Blackwater Products USA Truck Series. Every Wednesday, we'll have that next Wednesday, 9 p.m. And they're going to be on dirt at Eldora. Wow, it's going to be amazing. So check that out. We're going to have some heat races as well, and last ditch qualifier, and then 100 laps of action. So come see us next Wednesday at 9 right here for the Gearhead Grand National Thursday at 9. But until then, for me, Dean Doucette, and for Brad Patterson, that's going to wrap it up. We'll see you next time.